Hello, my name is Anna Solomon. I am with Flamingo Tutoring, and today we are going to go over writing linear equations using a worksheet from Kuta software. This is a strategy or a skill that is very important in the SAT specifically. So let me share my screen and let's talk about it. So first of all, the formula that we're going to keep coming back to is y equals mx plus b. All right. This describes a straight line. B is the y-intercept, which means that it crosses the y-axis. So that's where x equals 0. And then m is the slope. Remember that slope is rise over run. So that means the rise is the up and down. So that's the y's. And then the the run is the back and forth. That's the x axis. All right. So a way to calculate slope is to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Be very careful to write clearly. And that would be if you have 2 points on the line, you could say you would just identify them as x1, y1, and x2, y2. These ones and twos are not math that you're doing. They're just names to make sure that you are subtracting 1 points x from the other points x and 1 points y from the other points y in the same order. Because if you mix it up, then you're gonna get the wrong slope. All right. So let's look at number 1. If we have, so first of all, the easiest thing is to identify the y-intercept. So that's going to be right here on the y-axis. So my slope is 4, or it's my y-intercept is 4 there. And then my slope, I've got a couple different ways to do it. Sometimes you can look at the graph and read it. So I'm looking at my points and I want to find a point where it intersects right in a grid line instead of like right here between the 2 and 3. Like, is that 2.5? I'm not sure, not worth it. So I'm going to say I've got the line 0, 4 is 1 point on that line. And then the other one is 2, 1. All right. So then I can do the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I'm going to call these my 2's. So x2, y2, x1, y1, and y2 minus y1. So 1 minus 4 and 2 minus 0. So I get -3 over 2. So my slope is -3 over 2. And that makes sense. A negative slope will go, will slant this way. So now I can write my formula. Y equals, my m is -3 over 2 x plus, and then my y-intercept was 4. All right, and that's how you write these formulas. Your y and your x will stay variables. M and b are what you are plugging in. So that is how to do this. And it feels a little clunky and like it takes a little time to write this stuff out, but I definitely recommend doing that because what it does is, yes, it does slow you down. And that means that you are less likely to make careless errors. Okay. And then, all right, let's do one more. I'm going to just go down to 3, clean slate. And all right, so first of all, where's my y-intercept? That's going to be right here. So that is +2. And then my slope, let's go ahead and pull 0, 2 as one of my points. And what's another good point where it intersects the line? I'm gonna pick this one here. I could have picked this one up here, but I saw that one first. So here we go. And that is -2, 4. So we have x1, y1, x2, y2. And sometimes I'm like I try to be clever about which one is x1 and which one is x2, based on what's the easiest math. But sometimes that takes a couple extra seconds sometimes. So just don't worry about it. You can label either one as long as you are consistent, right? And that's such a common thing in the math anyway. Consistency is so important. So if we have our slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 equals, all right, so y2 was 4, y1 was 2, x2 was -2, and x1 was 0. Then we've got 4 minus 2 is 2, -2 minus 0 is -2. So this simplifies down to -1. That's not right, is it? Nope, because that's not a negative slope. What did I do wrong? So we've got y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, 4 minus 2. Oh, you know what it is? That's a negative, isn't it? Oops. All right, so -4 minus -2, or sorry, -2 is -6. There we go. Then -2, and that is +3. So okay, see, you can make goofy errors all the time, and being comfortable with positive and negative slopes saved me there. So let's just forget that happened. So my m is 3, so my formula is y equals 3x plus 2. All right. One other, I'm just going to mention this, another way that some students do slope, sometimes it's just easier to draw it on the graph. You can look at your rise and say, okay, well, it was at y equals 2, and now it's at y equals -4. What's the distance there? From +2 to -4 is 6. And then the run started at 0 and ran over 2. The distance is 2 there. So my rise over run is 6 over 2. So that simplifies down to 3. All right. So I can do it that way too. It's really whichever makes you more comfortable and is less likely to result in an error. Sometimes the SAT will give you the graph, and sometimes it'll only give you the points. So it's up to you what makes sense to you. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at testprep@flamingotutoring.com. And hopefully I'll be doing more videos like this soon. Thank you.